Well, the debate over religion in schools is heating up on social media. Thousands of you are reacting to this video of a mass baptism on a local school's football field. Now, this happened at Villarica High, and Carroll County schools say that they are looking into the matter, into whether state and federal laws were broken as a result of this. Well, tonight at 6 o'clock, our Matt Pearl has a fresh look at this controversy, but we can tell you already that this has certainly riled up a lot of people on both sides of the debate, and that's what we're going to pursue right now. Joining me are Jason Thompson, spokesperson for the Capital Coalition of Conservative Leaders, and Michael Maneely, an attorney who was part of the lawsuit back in 2004, I believe, defending church and state separation against the Cobb County School Board. So, gentlemen, thank you both. So I want to throw this out. Just if you can't give the Lord's Prayer in the classroom, why is it okay to have a baptism on a school campus?
It is okay, and I commend the coach for doing this. I mean,
why is it okay, but you can't give the Lord's Prayer in a classroom?
Actually, you can, and the courts have gotten this wrong over and over and over again. The First Amendment says Congress, so Congress isn't involved here. Congress didn't establish a state religion, or they didn't force these guys to get baptized.
Michael, you take a different position on that altogether.
We have a difference of opinion on that. It is use of state property. It's use of civilians' property in that context. And that's the football field. The coach, who was paid by the state, using a state function, which was a football practice, to proselytize. And just fundamentally can't be done.
Is this a separation of state and church issue,
yes.
clearly?
Yes, clearly.
And you take a different, you
Listen,
say no, absolutely
separation of church and state's not even in the Constitution. That's something that people get wrong all the time. This is a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Danbury Baptist Association a long time ago, and they're talking about establishing a state religion, really. They're not doing that here. So what they were doing, obviously, is kids were by their own, no one forced them to get baptized,
right.
obviously.
By their own fruition.
By their own fruition, and they decided to get baptized, and I think it's great. And look, back in 2013, there was another scare, if you will, where there were Bibles in these cabins in state parks, if you remember.
Yes, I remember.
And people panicked and said, oh, we got to get the Bibles out, separation of church and state. But we have states' rights. And Governor Deal said, you know what, return those Bibles back to where they belong. And they put them back.
We do have states' rights, but I think that we could agree that it wouldn't work very well for the nation if Georgia were to become a Baptist state and Alabama were to become a Pentecostal state, and say Arkansas were to become a Muslim state.
But early in our founding, they had states did do that. Matter of fact, Maryland followed the Church of England. They established their own.
How big of an infraction, though, Michael, if you believe, in fact, this is an infraction and it violates our separation of church and state, from your perspective, how big of an infraction is it?
I think it falls into the category of it seemed like a good idea at the time. It's a one incident.
Any
shouldn't
lawsuit
happen
should
again.
come of this, do you think?
Only if they continue to do it. I mean, it's such a blatant violation that it would beg a lawsuit. But hopefully, and it seems like the Carroll County school system is taking it very seriously and understand what the issues are and don't intend to allow this to be repeated. So no, not a lawsuit.
Should the coach be reprimanded in some manner?
Educated, I would hope, because I got to figure that the way our population is, there were students there that were not of that faith. Perhaps of no faith, and it might help for the coach to understand those students are important too.
Well, should it be taken into consideration, though, that, as you said, the students who were baptized did it on their own,
and look, out of all the things that are going on in the world, there's basically hate groups going around calling for the assassination of police officers. 4 were killed this last week.
Oh, you're going to mix that up into this?
I'm just saying, of all the things going on in the world, this is they say it was a mass baptism, like there was a mass suicide or execution or something like that. I commend these guys for having a baptism. Good for them. Good for the coach.
But here's the risk with it.
Worrying about the salvation of his
kids. We could all agree that Islamic State's a bad idea, right? But we're headed down the road of saying, this is our group. We're involved with a group that does baptisms. As you know, some Christian groups don't believe in baptisms. They believe in sprinkling. So the people who believe in sprinkling are bad. They can't be a part of this group. So it causes a fractiousness within our society. And that's why it's a bad idea for the government to get invested in that.
So what if this happens again? You're
okay with
that?
I think what we're seeing here is what's called a pushback and a resistance of everything that's going on in the United States. The Christians are forced to do things and not being able to exercise their own beliefs. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this. This is basically what Dr. Martin Luther King preached. Really, it's an unjust law. If you want to say that this is somehow against the law, against the separation of church and state, they're saying that it's no law at all because it violates their natural law.
All right. I'm going to have to leave it there. I wish we could talk longer, but we've run out of time.
Thank
Gentlemen, thank you both.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
DeMarco?